Good evening. Welcome to the November 4th, 2025 Select Board meeting. This meeting will be broadcast live and recorded on Foxboro Cable Access. We're going to take a vote to go into executive session.
Motion to move into executive session for the Select Board to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property of 175 Mechanic Street, 76 North High Street, 75 Central Street, pursuant MGL C 330A, 21A6, roll call.
Is the sign up?
I'm going to go through it right now.
Second. Mark, yes.
Stephanie, yes.
Bill, yes.
Amy, yes.
Debbie, yes.
We will be returning to our regular scheduled meeting on or about 7 o'clock. Welcome back to the November 4th Board of Selectmen's meeting. We've just exited executive session and we'll go back into regular session. We'll start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chief, would you like to start us off with the citizens' input?
Thanks, Chairman, for allowing me to speak for a couple of minutes. This is a message to the residents of Foxborough. I'm pleased to share that the following collaborative discussion between the Foxborough Police Department, the Town of Foxborough leadership, and the Craft Group has forged a path forward that has identified that residents will be allowed to access the Revolution Way on game day or event day. There are some clarifications on the language of the REBS training site permit that need to be addressed specifically, not allowing vehicles, but we're going to work through that. This decision reflects a shared commitment to preserving the quality of life of the community while addressing safety and logistical concerns. Foxborough residents with valid credentials will continue to use Revolution Way as they have for years, maintaining a tradition of local access that respects both the public safety and the neighborhood integrity. To ensure the program is successful and sustainable, there'll be some key components to this. Obviously, there'll be a verification process, there'll be oversight, and there'll be strict enforcement. This initiative underscores the importance of working together to solve community concerns. By listening to the residents and working together with stakeholders, we addressed a huge issue in town that is long overdue. No major changes will occur on the Thursday night game, and the implementation will take a little bit of time to roll out, and we will communicate that with the residents directly, but we do want to stress that it's very important that this is for residents only, as we try to deal with the extra volume of traffic and how this once great little secret has manifested itself into something more. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know,
Chief.
I know this is not the opportunity to go back and forth as it's, so that's why I'm not taking questions.
Thanks, Chief.
Is there anybody else on your citizens' input? State your name and address.
Nancy Shone, 20 Capone Road. Just want to say thank you so much for, doing this for us. I do want to just voice one thing as you go and figure out all the logistics for this. I've been a resident since 21, and the first year we had to have a pass, and for the last several years we haven't. And for the last several years, I am totally unimpeded. I've never asked where I live. I come down Chestnut, I come down Baker, I come down Payson, I go up and I go through the back of Dexter. I'm never asked about whether I live there. I think that the problem can be easily solved if we just button down that three little areas there, North, Payson, and Dexter. I see it firsthand. I'm out, I'm like Mrs. Kravitz looking. I'm seeing everything that's going on in the town. So that would be my suggestion. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Board?
I have a different topic, is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Again, name and address, please.
My name is Monique Lariviere. I live at 11 Summerville Road. I will not take a lot of your time, although I do appreciate this bit of time that you're giving me. I am a Foxborough resident and soon-to-be retired educator. My request this evening, simply put, is trash cans. Year-round trash cans at the Lane property and year-round trash cans at Payson Recreational Fields. There seems to be a perception that as the weather turns cold and as the recreational sports time comes to an end, that no one makes use of these beautiful properties when in fact the opposite is true. Many people enjoy these properties all year round, and I know this because I'm there every day. My dog and I enjoy our daily walks through the Lane property, as well as frequent walks around Payson Recreational Fields. As a volunteer at Lane, and they call me a volunteer because I'm not yet eligible for a tax credit. I do this because I care and I cherish the property. I've spent the last 5+ years tending to the trails and picking up trash, lots and lots of trash all year round. The one trash can at the Learning Center during the summers has helped quite a bit. Unfortunately, that has been removed for the winter months. Although there will be, I'm sure, people that will leave trash regardless, I believe most people will do the right thing. Unfortunately, we do not help by not providing trash receptacles. Even I struggle, as it leaves me no place to throw away the trash I've collected, which includes some rather smelly items that I'd prefer not to put in my own car. If you would like me to get into the particulars of what kind of trash and who the culprits might be, I'd be more than able to do that for you. However, my goal tonight is simply to request 2 year-round trash cans for Lane, one at the Learning Center and one in the upper parking lot. As for the Payson Recreational Fields, there are at least 5 trash cans during the warmer recreational sports months. However, only 1 trash can remains during the winter months for the entire property. It is located near the playground. I would like to request 1 additional trash can to remain for the opposite parking lot. I think this will make a big difference with the food and drink trash, as well as dog waste bags that are left. As you may be aware, we had a big problem last winter with people leaving dog waste bags where trash cans once sat. Again, I think most people will do the right thing if we help them along just a little bit. I thank you for your attention to this matter and appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody online? Anybody else in the audience? Okay, we'll move on. Annual Above and Beyond Awards.
Okay, you want to call Laurie up here?
Please give us your names and obviously who you're representing.
I'm Margaret Chason with the Foxborough Commission on Disability, and this is our chair, Sue Collins, and we are here tonight to present our annual awards. We do 2 awards every year, one to a business that employs people with disabilities and one for an individual who goes above and beyond helping people with disabilities. And unfortunately, our business award winner has not made it here tonight yet.
No. There's no one here from Bass Pro Shop? No?
Um,
I heard great things about this manager, Matthew Hennessy, and he said he would be here, so I don't know. But unfortunately.
So do you want to just go
Okay.
over that award?
Yeah. Let's see. So the business award is for a business that employs and supports a person or persons with a disability. And this year goes to Bass Pro Shop. We got a nomination from a grandmother of a person with a disability. And this grandmother praised the manager Matthew Hennessy, and he not only hired this boy, well, excuse me, I knew him from, or her, and so he's always will be a boy to me, this young man, and she said that the manager, Matthew Donahue, was very supportive, and he and anybody I called over at Bass Pro Shop was very complimentary about this young man, and they're very supportive, and that's what the grandmother said, that they gave them all the tools they needed to be successful and thrive in his job. So we sincerely appreciate a business who gives that extra time and extra effort that Matthew and his team made to ensure that a person with a disability will flourish in their job. So I will give this plaque to the Bass Pro Shop to be hung at their shop to let them know that we appreciate that.
And we're also joined tonight by Representative Michael Chason. Senator Paul Feeney was intending to be here, but ended up not being able to make it. And over the years, Senator Feeney and Representative Barrows often attended these presentations, and we appreciate Michael Chason coming tonight as well. And he's got a presentation to make as well. So for our individual award, many of you may not be aware the role the Hockomock YMCA has taken over the last several years in offering programming for individuals with disabilities. They saw a need and stepped up to fill it, and much of their success is due to the outstanding director they have leading the way. Laurie Inferrera is the mother of two, and she's the inclusion specialist at the Foxborough YMCA. She organizes and implements programming for dozens of individuals with disabilities. Activities such as Special Olympics team sports, exercise classes, glee club, cheerleading, swimming, dances, summer camp, and so much more. Laurie has been working at the Y for 6 years. During her tenure, she has greatly increased the number of opportunities for children and adults with disabilities. She started her involvement by bringing her son to inclusion activities. She was a great asset as a volunteer from the beginning and was soon tapped to run the program. She spends long hours planning activities and even longer hours dealing with the many diverse individuals that participate. Laurie is very kind and sympathetic. She patiently works with the individuals and their families to resolve issues from everything from financial matters to finding resources for specific challenges to dealing with behavior issues and to ensuring that the programs are appropriate for the individuals. The FCOD received numerous nominations for Laurie for this award. She is a gem that embodies the definition of going above and beyond, and we are very pleased to present her with the 2025 FCOD Above and Beyond Award. If it was in our power, we would also present her with a halo, because in the eyes of everyone involved with the program, she is a saint.
Thank you so much.
I'm tired just listening to all the stuff that you do.
I'm very lucky to have a foothold in Foxborough and lucky to get to do the things I do and have parents like you who are always in my corner. So thank you for everything.
Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sorry, just jump in at the last minute like that. But Mike Chason, state rep here for the 1st Bristol District, Foxborough, Mansfield, and Norton. Just want to come down. We have some citations here, one from the Senate, one from the House, just to recognize Laurie on her incredible work, and we want to just say thank you. It's people like you that we have in our community that really makes it what it is, so we're truly grateful for everything that you do. And on behalf, I'll read off, let's read off the Senate one first, since Paul is on here. All right, so Commonwealth of Massachusetts State Senate. Official citation, be it here known to the Massachusetts Senate, hereby extends its congratulations to Laurie Inferrera in recognition of receiving the Foxborough Commission on Disability Above and Beyond Individual Award. And be it further known that the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to, and a copy therefore transmitted to the Clerk of the Senate, signed by Karen E. Spilka, Senate President, the Senate Clerk, Michael T. Hurley, and offered by Michael Chasen, but signed by Paul R. Feeney. Sorry, I butchered that a little bit, Paul, if you're watching. I don't do these often, so I tended to go off of memory with the House one. So, but here, we'll read off our House citation as well. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, House of Representatives. Be it hereby known to all, the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Laurie Inferrera. Am I saying that right?
Got it right the first time.
In recognition of receiving the Foxborough Commission on Disability Above and Beyond Individual Award. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this fourth day, November 2025, at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts, signed by the Speaker of the House, Ron Mariano, and by myself, Michael Chasen. So I just wanted to come down, congratulate you, and offer you these two citations here. I'll bring them on over. We do have citations for the basketball shop too.
That'd be great. I'll make
Thank
sure
you
that
so
they're-
much.
Thank you all.
Before you guys get up, this is always a very special night for me because I have a son with disabilities. And I just wanted to say thank you to what the commission does, what people like Laurie do. I wish the gentleman from the Bass Pro was here tonight. We're just starting the transition period for my son. We're about 6 months out. So, it's not even just about, so he's residential in a residential school, but in 6 months when he's 22, there are new steps to be taken. And so it's not even just about where he'll go to live, some type of group home, but it's also what they're going to do with him during the day, and so it's about opportunities. The fact that Bass Pro, we're lucky that there are lots of businesses that are willing to take on. It's not always easy, and so I look forward to see where Holly might fit in, or maybe who's going to give him that opportunity to, now he goes to a farm and does some recycling and stuff, but the people with disabilities have to, they're here for the rest of their lives, and there needs to be opportunity. So thank you for the recognition for people who do that. And Laurie, bravo, good for you as well.
Let me know if you need anything. I'm only down the street. Teens and adult programming, so we have a lot of things that we can work with the group
Awesome.
homes. And
Yeah, we just started that, whether
a lot.
whether it's going to be vocational. They're hoping some will be vocational, but he's going to need some type of day program, something, you can't just take him on to, he's been going to school for 20 some odd years, so you can't now just go that, it's just it's not just about the housing, it's everything else that will come to, hopefully make him a good member of the community.
yeah, we've been through it. We understand.
Yep.
If you need anything,
Thank
you have
you.
both of us to lean on, and we'll be
Appreciate
there
it.
for you.
Appreciate it. We're very lucky to have all of you.
Thank you. Thank
Anybody
you.
else?
Congratulations.
Thank
We're very
you
lucky to
all.
have
Thank you
you
very
in our
much.
community.
All right, being about 7:22, the American flag, black bunting and mourning ribbon policy.
Good evening, everybody. Michelle Hamilton, Director of Veteran Services, and Lauren Shirtliff, Assistant. So I think most of you know this kind of came about due to talk about lowering the flag to half-staff. So Amy worked with myself and Lauren and Paige to come up with a policy on what we think that might be good for the town. And do you guys all have a copy of it? Yep. Yeah, okay. So it's a pretty simple ask that we display the black ribbon with the American flag, and a bow goes around the top and 2 ribbons flow around the edge as a mourning remembrance. And then we thought that it would be nice if we did the black buntings here at Town Hall around the door and these lower windows right at the entrance. I think it's interesting because I was just in Washington, D.C. and went to where Lincoln was shot, and Interestingly enough, the Mourning Buntings were a huge part of that funeral and the processional and stuff, so it made me kind of think, maybe we're on the right track. So what we would like to do is have a policy that the town would enforce and support, so that we don't have to worry about whether or not we can lower the flag to half-staff, because as you all well know, there's only two people who can lower that flag, and it's the President of the United States and the Governor. So, and I know not everybody follows that policy, and I would like for us to be better than that. I would like for us to follow the law and also be respectful to the people who've supported the town.
Does anybody have any questions of the policy
No, I
itself?
think it's a great policy. Yeah.
I think the key in here too, though, is under H. It says, "All requests to display bunting that meets the above criteria must be submitted to the town manager. Final approval will be determined jointly by the town manager, the veteran service agent, and a designated member of the select board. And if one of the three parties is unavailable, the remaining two may make the decision." So I think you need to, if you approve this policy, also determine who the designated select board member would be.
I'd like to know.
We have to approve the policy
Okay,
first.
policy first. Do we have to say who the person's going to be
No,
before the policy?
no.
Stuck with us.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to approve the American flag, black bunting, and mourning ribbon policy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, hearing none. As far as a candidate,
I would like to make a motion to nominate Amy to be the candidate. Well, Amy, you helped with part of
Yeah,
this,
she
too.
definitely
And
was a
really
big help.
took a-
Yes.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that you would be honored to be the member of our board to help with these decisions, so that's my
Second.
motion.
you second it?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous? Thank you very much.
Thank you for the support. Great.
Thank you.
Chief, you want to come up?
Let's fill the table. Yeah, why not? Please, Bob?
Yep. Bring a chair up.
So, thanks for having us. I'm proud to announce that the Foxborough Police Department has officially received reaccreditation from the Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission, MPAC. This honor was accepted on behalf of the department and by our accreditation manager, Deputy Chief Richard Noonan. He lives and dies accreditation. I think he's gonna sleep with that tonight, okay? Lieutenant Burns, who has taken the secondary role behind the deputy in this, Lieutenant Pat Hoffman, Lieutenant John Chamberlain, and we never forget our non-sworn, which would be Lee McCarthy and Robert Bulger. It doesn't happen, the unsung heroes of the agency. This reaccreditation represents a comprehensive 3-year review of our department policies, procedures, and practices. The impacts assessment confirmed that we continue to meet and exceed the highest standards of professional policing and public service. It validates our commitment to best practices, operational excellence, and our dedication to serving the residents and visitors of Foxborough with integrity and accountability. Accreditation is more than just a certificate. It's a reflection of who we are and how we operate. It demonstrates our ongoing commitment to transparency, continuous improvement, and community trust. This achievement would not have been possible without the daily contributions of every member of the department, who go out every single day, deliver professional services to the residents of Foxborough. So here is the team that worked tirelessly to get it done. So this is a little different than accreditation, because accreditation was a 1-year look back. This reaccreditation was a 3-year look back on everything that we do, how we do it, hundreds and thousands. I mean, I say, you're looking at 100,000 calls for services, and samples are extracted, and we got to meet the standard, and we met it in flying colors. So I'm proud to present this to the town of Foxborough and to this board, and the town manager who's been very supportive of this initiative.
Congratulations.
And that's what we have.
Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask? I mean, you got
If
them
you
in front
want,
of
we
you
can
now.
go over the assessment process and the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hours.
Just a curious question. So how come the original accreditation only went back a year, but your goes back 3 years?
You know
Is
what, Deputy?
anybody
I'm
wondering
gonna
that?
give you that one because
Just a short
we gotta
version.
tie in a
It's just-
certification
yeah.
with that as well.
Because before they get, you have a year, it goes by cycles, so your initial accreditation, you need to prove that you're meeting the standards, right? So then they give you a 3-year window to get re-accredited. So once you meet the original standards, you need to prove what you're doing for the next 3
Okay.
years.
Okay.
So like an example, I'll just give an example for use of force training, you need to do it yearly. So we would need to prove that we did it initially, and then we need to do it for the next 3 years. And that happens for numerous standards that we need to prove 3 years of compliance.
And so will this happen again every 3 years, this process, or?
It better.
No,
Yeah. Yes,
But the-
so
the standard-
every day is accreditation day.
Okay.
So we need to be in compliance immediately, which is what we're doing, and documenting, because if you're not doing it, you're not gonna pass 3 years from now, 2 years from now, because you wouldn't have met the standards. So you're always doing it. And what's very interesting in Foxborough is we're a 40-officer agency, but accreditation forces all of our reserve officers to meet the exact same standard. So we have to do the accreditation assessment of a 72-officer agency. So,
I, for one,
Congratulations.
am proud to be part of this community and in this department, so good for you guys. I'm actually not surprised, honestly, when we see this coming up, because I know the pride that takes place in this agency, so.
awesome. And we were voluntold by Katie that we had to bring the plaque for a picture.
We need a picture,
Yeah, we need a
absolutely.
We stand up in front of the, maybe you'll bump the fire department up. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Katie, how do you want us? Do you want the,
I think we all came here,
Yep.
or in front of here even, maybe, so that we're not, the chairs aren't blocking us.
well, we can we can take 10 seconds and slide the chairs. If the board stands there, and we'll just put the microphones down. It's gonna be from the waist up. Covers? Okay. Get my cover. Stand up. We jump in there, come on. Shall we go every other? Go every other? Chairman, you're in the middle, sir, the town manager. How's that? Okay.
I don't know why.
I need a little room.
How's that?
Okay. Everybody smile. There we go.
It takes a village. Thanks, Lee. Bob, thanks for coming.
Well, that's the best thing to happen.
Thanks, Lee. You're welcome.
Thanks for resolving that other issue. You were gonna talk to me.
Good? Good.
Rain, snow, doesn't matter, I'll go for a walk. I walk Although I walk slower in the snow.
Okay. Tax classification hearing?
Let me go grab them. I got it. I don't mind moving.
From the easy stuff to the hard stuff.
Just 4 minutes.
You want to do your things instead? Wait, we can just wait. We can do some other stuff.
Get back in, Dad?
Yeah, you can
He knows
start.
to come down, right? They know to come down?
One would hope.
actually.
Yeah.
There's only so much we can do.
They scheduled it.
You can lead a horse.
I know.
All right, we'll do town manager update, start that.
Okay. As everybody knows in the news, there's some challenges around SNAP. So that's the benefits to provide food to those who qualify. We've been in touch with Foxborough schools. They report that they have 329 students receiving SNAP benefits or not receiving SNAP benefits. And then from Foxborough Human Services, according to the 2024 Census and Department of Transitional Assistance, there are 1,629 SNAP users in Foxborough. So that's a 8.7% of our residents. Kate Finnery and Pam McGuire in our Human Services Department assist residents on the daily basis. They've asked that if anybody in the community needs support, many people know this, but reach out to the community center. The main number is the best number to reach Kate or Pam. They're at the ready and able to help. Any resident who wants to help should go to the Foxborough Food Pantry's website and look under donations. You can drop off food gift cards at the food pantry. On the days they're open, you can drop off gift cards with the community center. People do want to donate food, and that's always, of course, welcome. And I'm not speaking for the pantry, but I've been on a lot of meetings on this, so just in general. One of the challenges is that people end up donating a lot of the same food. For example, if you give mac and cheese, they need milk. Not everybody's going to have milk. Also, a lot of these pantries are smaller and limited staff, so the sorting and the managing, it makes it difficult. So as much as folks might not want to, I think the cash and or the gift cards in small denominations to local grocery stores are really the ones that go the farthest away. I heard a number that for every $1 someone donates, they're able to procure about $7 worth of food. So I know there's a lot of residents out there that are looking to help. Please reach out. I think the food pantry, I don't know for sure, but I don't know if they need volunteers. Certainly check with them. But I know our community center is working closely with the discretionary fund, with the pantry, and our Foxborough residents are stepping up, but there's always more room. And this may go on for a month or more, and we're heading into the holidays. The good thing in the meetings, as we discuss, is even if by some fortuitous chance this challenge dissipates sooner rather than later, we're going into the holiday season, so it's always a good time to give. So I'll leave it at that. The Boyden Library, coincidentally, prior to this crisis, had launched a community food cupboard outside the library's main entrance. It's open 24/7 and it's anonymous, so anybody who needs food may help themselves, and it's intended to supplement the work being done by the food pantry in St. Mark's. They are looking for unexpired, non-perishable food donations to be accepted at the circulation desk during open hours if you're willing to donate in November and December. I mentioned at the last meeting that there's a mobile breast cancer screening event. Just a reminder, that's November 13th, and pre-registration is required. It runs from 7 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. Folks will see the van out in the parking lot. So touch base with the health department if you are interested in getting a mammogram right here in town. But don't call them tomorrow, because they will be closed for training tomorrow. So the Board of Health is closed tomorrow.
Good segue.
Yesterday, we had an informal and last-minute ribbon cutting at the community center. That's why you weren't invited. It was a last-minute thing. A bunch of seniors showed up for the November 3rd opening of the lower level. So we did an impromptu ribbon cutting. Both floors are now open. As you know, there's no elevators, but the programming is underway and very active. There were probably about 30 people that showed up, all the regulars, and you've got to go see that bottom floor. It is pretty awesome. Reminder again that the financial summit is going to be held on December 2nd at 5:30 before our board meeting. And Paul Ahern, as we all may, I don't know if everybody will know that name, but he's been with Schneider Electric for years. He has officially retired. So we're very happy for him. He's sailed off into the sunset to retire and on very good terms, and we congratulate Paul. And he's going to be greatly missed, but he's left us contacts for all the folks that are going to step into his very large shoes. My regular reminder that short-term rentals are prohibited, as is selling of parking spaces. And the employee appreciation event is actually coming up next Thursday, November 13th, and the town hall is going to open late that day at 11 a.m. And the other big news is Fox Alert is now accepting signups. If you go to the front page of the website, you can register. It's not yet live, but we're really trying to get folks to register, and that's going to let us notify residents of small events, big events, and the residents get to choose. We will not inundate you, it will be selective. You can just choose emergencies, or you could choose all community alerts. And we're also coming into the holiday season this month. Town Hall will be closed next Tuesday for Veterans Day. And then at Thanksgiving time, the Wednesday prior to Thanksgiving, the Town Hall closes at 12:30. And then we'll be closed the rest of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, reopening on Monday. Another reminder is that Veterans Day's ceremony, this is going to be at the community center, so don't go to the high school. It's at the community center, and it's just remember 11/11 at 11. And that's at 76 Main Street. We have one job open right now, and it's for the Tree and Parks Division, laborer driver. And with respect, Bill could probably update me even more, but as last I heard, the DPW expansion was going great. The building's now weather tight. The buses moved over on October 24th. And also the PFAS plant is progressing. And that is all I have.
Very good. Why don't we go back to our regular scheduled program and have the tax hearing, tax classification hearing. How you doing?
Need the, Marie, do you want to go grab, do you need the thing?
Brandon's gonna take care of that.
Brandon, remember, you have to point it back towards that room.
I was supposed to have a board member here, but he hasn't arrived. I think he's coming, but I can handle it.
You did all the work, right, Tom?
You all set? Yeah. Okay. So we're doing the FY26 tax classification hearing. Very similar to last year's. We're just updating the statistics, going through the changes in the market, which have been pretty consistently strong, as you probably know.
Can you move the mic closer to you?
Sorry.
It's not quite picking you up. Thank you.
And so I will go through the usual, and then the changes that occurred in the market. And then obviously have a chance for questions at the end on anything you have. So this is an update on the 2026, the interim valuation process. This is different than last year, which was a 5-year certification with the state. This is just they call it an interim, but it's similar, but to a lesser degree. This is an overview. We're gonna go over the different shift options. You can shift, right now we're shifting at, I think, a 1, 2, 3 onto the commercial. And that can be changed depending on the vote tonight. And we're gonna go over the different values, the levy limit, the trends in the market, which are, like I indicated, market's still very strong. And then we have recommendations and your motions at the end. So we did our typical review to a lesser extent this year, using our consultant and myself, reviewing values. And residential values are up quite a bit again this year, as indicated by the slide, and single families are up 9% on average. The waterfront values are much higher. They're going to be impacted. They're going to get letters in the mail because we had some real significant increases on sales around the Ponset Reservoir and the other ponds. People are paying a lot more money to get around those properties. Specifically Ridge Road, if you go down there, you're going to see some really high-end homes going in there. That unfortunately affects everybody on the water to a lesser degree, depending on the property. Condos were up about 6%. Commercial industrial is relatively flat. This year, now last year, commercial industrial got a bigger increase, like around 10%. It was kind of the opposite because we did that full dive on the 5-year certification. This year, they're more or less flat with the existing leases. Okay, go to the next one. So the purpose of the classification hearing is to set the minimum residential factor for the town, which will determine the shift in the tax burden between the residential and the commercial classes, also known as setting the split. The select board will vote on the residential exemption, small commercial exemption, and that minimum residential factor. So the additional shift options include the residential exemption, which is a shift of 20% shift of average assessed value. It shifts the tax burden between different values between lower priced homes and higher priced homes. Application of this option is in major cities and Cape Towns or seasonal properties. Only 5.5% of communities have this option. In Foxborough has never implemented this, and the Board of Assessors has recommended to decline that option. The small commercial exemption is, shifts up to 10% of the assessed value, requires an extensive analysis of the business operations, less than $1 million in value and less than 10 employees. It will not help those leasing a business space, as the exemption goes to the property owner. This probably all sounds familiar to you because I have to bring it up every year. It's required by the state. The other commercial industrial class would have an increase in tax burden. Only 4% of communities have this option, and Foxborough has never implemented that. The Board of Assessors has recommended to decline that option as well. As far as the classification of the property, what changes in value do we have this year? As I had indicated, residential value is the one that is increasing the most. Commercial, industrial, personal property are all relatively flat or coming down. Personal property, especially because of depreciation. There's just a lot of depreciation. We didn't have a lot of new accounts in personal property. And as I indicated, the residential value is the, as you can see by the industrial, I wanted to make sure you realize, and this will come up a couple times, the demo at Schneider is causing a big drop in the industrial value by $10 million because, I mean, they did a huge demo over there. So it's affecting that particular valuation category. You're going to see that it's a continuing theme throughout. So as far as the, this is just a pie chart indicating the values in Foxborough. As you can see, we are primarily residential community. The levy limit is the amount of community raises for real estate and personal property tax. Plus, we add 2.5% for new growth. And typically, the levy limit goes up 4 or 5% a year, and this is no different this year. The levy limit is at $64,361,056. And this bar chart on the following slide is just an indicator. It's kind of a redundancy, but just to show that it's a kind of a straight line going up every year, 4 or 5%. The trends in the market, again, the waterfront property is going to get hit with a higher increase this year. It's just the market. We have lots now on the waterfront going for $500,000, $600,000. We have on a high-end subdivision, some of them are around $550,000, but the water especially is the highest, and that's affected the properties along the waterfront, not just the brand new ones, but obviously the other ones, because people are purchasing them at a much higher rate. The mortgage activity, the sales activity is up this year about 9%. But the interesting thing on the next slide, you can see that I think is pretty stark, is the average sale price is now over $800,000 in Foxborough, which is pretty significant. If you don't think it's significant, I found a national average is $368,000. So I just thought I'd put that in there. That's from Zillow, but you know, the New England market is just a total different animal than the rest of the country. But you know, the lower values, that's probably out in Nebraska or Kansas, something like that. But it's just an indicator of how high we are around here. And then our average single family value is $693,000, which is still significant. The new growth, we had another good year in new growth, but it was more of an average, but still a pretty good year. Last year was an aberration because we had a huge bump from personal property, so it went to 1.7 million. That's not normal for us. We're usually $800,000 to $1 million in new growth. And that was, this year was basically residential, not many new homes, but there was a lot of remodels, a lot of tear downs. And then we had a couple of decent commercial projects. We got the training facility for the Patriots and Chick-fil-A and a few other commercial properties that helped the new growth. So, as you can see, we're still not putting a lot of brand-new houses on. This year will be different, though, because we do have some 10 and 12 lot subdivisions on East Street that are going to boost our overall number of new homes. So we are getting a few smaller subdivisions coming in this year. I don't know how many they'll get done, but those numbers should go up a little bit more. We just don't have the land to put in a 40-unit, subdivision or something like that. It's just not there. But we do have, it'll be a little bit more next year. So this is just a typical town comparison. I think you guys like to see where you land. You're going to see this multiple times, so you guys can make your decision, your informed decision. Last year, you're at the 1.23, and you can see there, communities are increasing on the shift. Around here, for the most part, people are going, I shouldn't say people, but municipalities are increasing the shift. They're putting more of a burden on the commercial, which is accurate because the residential values are going so high, they're trying to help the residents out. And I think you'll see that we're trying to do the same thing. The next slide, you can see, this is from last year, mind you, this is not this year, but we were at 1322, a little higher on the residential tax, but still, pretty competitive. And this year, we're going to be in that particular area too. As far as the commercial, we're a little lower because last year we shifted a little less on the commercial. This year, we're proposing to shift a little more on it just to help the residents out. You can see that from that bar chart. So this is where we get into the proposed for this year. As we had indicated, we had gone through different scenarios as we do every year to try to come up with something equitable. And to keep the annual increase for residents under $500, we have to shift to 1.3%. It's a kind of a significant shift, but we're trying to help the residents out significantly because they're going to also deal with the waterfront increase plus the 9%. Well, it's either 9% or waterfront. That 9% is built into the waterfront increase, but we thought that this was fair, a fair situation to try to keep that increase under $500. We have to go to a 1.3. On the commercial side, obviously they're gonna see a little bit more of an increase, but their tax rate is still gonna be lower than our historic tax rate. So as you can see, it's 1824 for commercial when the proposed, but back in 22 and 21, it was 1884 and 1875. So the tax rate was still higher back then. So even though they may pay a little more because their average value is going up, the tax rate is still reasonable. And on the industrial slide there, that's calculating a big reduction because the average value is dropping because of the whole Schneider property demo. So that's why it's showing that significant drop. So again, this is just another indicator of the changes. And the $480 increase on average, the $33.62, it looks like a lot, but when your bill is $46,000, it's only 7% of the bill. The 480 is like 5% increase. And then the industrial, because of the Schneider, is showing a drop. Again, on the following slide, you again see the shifts in the regional area with Foxborough at 123. We're still relatively low as of last year. We are proposing an increase to that, but we don't know what other communities are going to do. But they're already at around 1.3. Some of them are pushing 1.4. So you're still in a good position if you were to go to 1.3 to assist the residential taxpayer. I think you're still in a pretty good position to do that. Again, it's kind of a redundancy, but these are your options. If we were to keep the shift from last year in the blue, you could see the residents would on average pay $647 more. Commercial will pay a little less, but we thought we should shift more onto the commercial and give the residents a a break this year. So that's why the board is recommending going to 130 from 123 to help with the increasing values. And with that, these are just the tables we use to come up with the shift from the Department of Revenue. And I can take any questions. That's pretty much my presentation.
So I guess this is, I never really looked at this before this way, but, so typically when our levy limit is based on the prior year moving forward, and I've never really looked at $11 million loss, which doesn't get taken away, it just gets spread across everybody else.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so I think that's a factor people have to kind of keep in mind,
Yeah.
that if you lose a big taxpayer in the chart, we don't just drop down everything, everybody else picks it up, in effect.
And then when you redevelop it, you're obviously going to gain that,
Right.
whatever that site becomes. And,
Does that then come back in as new growth?
Yeah, it will.
So even though you don't deduct, you add back in?
Well, we technically do, we are taking it out of the overall value, that 11 million.
Yeah.
So every year is taking its own snapshot, so every new construction is a new year.
Okay.
Because we don't know when that's gonna actually occur,
Right.
so.
But the levy limit doesn't adjust up and down.
No.
for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, okay.
I guess, just looking at some of the numbers here, so like, all right, so in the change in SFA value, is there a trend for that? Like, I'm looking like in 2021, it looks like it was 2.86, then we go up to 5.77, then it goes up to 10.39, then we come back down a little and back up. Is there some type of, what's generating that?
What slide are you on?
Average single-family tax bill proposed.
And what's your question, sorry?
So under the change in SFA value, so you see how like the change is like under 3, then it starts to creep up, gets as high as 10.39, then starts to come back. What's generating that?
I'm not sure which slide you're on, I can't find it
Okay.
here.
Yeah,
Single, right there.
Oh, right here? Oh, okay.
SFA, the second column? Or-
Second from the end, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's.
The change
that's-
in the SFA.
Yeah, that's your change in your single-family assessment. So in '24, the overall value went up 10% in that particular category, in residential value.
Does
So
does that just come from, so, like if you're selling your house, the realtor's gonna look at your assessment, or maybe they're an appraisal, to come up with a number that they think that the home might be worth, like to sell?
Yeah, I mean, they do a market analysis
Yeah.
on your home. But, so that 10% is the overall, so the 2 billion over there, so from 23 to 24, that's a 10% increase, the 2.4 billion to the 2.6 billion. So that's the whole town.
Yeah.
You're talking about your own individual.
Well, I'm wondering, so is that what drives that number specifically, on what homes are actually selling for?
I mean, you could apply that to your home too, as well. I mean, in general terms. So that's why this year, we're like 7.5% to 9% increase on average, on the average home.
Yeah. Yeah, I get, something, I guess, I kind of, every year I say the same thing. The value of your home is the value of your home, but if you're not selling it, then the value really means nothing. It does, but it doesn't, you know what I mean, as far as, I don't know, I guess, I understand, my parents own a home on the water, and I see their tax bill, and the land is worth far more than the home is worth.
Yep.
I don't know, I guess I know that area a little bit, the Ridge Road, just that one particular, on the water, and I know, I don't know, I just think of some seniors that live down there that, I guess it's nice that the property is worth money, but if they're not selling it, I wonder how they're gonna be able to absorb like an increase there. I know it's kind of a funny question because I understand why
Yeah.
it's going up, but then I think of residents that are gonna be like, oh my God.
But
you
to
know what I
some
mean?
degree, some of those lots are small lots. They're going to be classified in the value. They're not going to go up the same
No,
as a lot that's,
not the
you know,
same
one
rate.
acre lot that can go
Yeah,
there. So,
Yeah, yeah, because
Yeah.
obviously that number's, it's, like I said, you know, knowing, I've never had property on water, but then looking at my parents' bill, and I'm like, oh my God, like, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's so, Bill knows, right? So, yeah, so I get it. I guess I just worry about some of our residents, you know, especially knowing that, you know, some of the homes there are big homes, younger people. Some of them are people who have lived there for a long time. They're seniors, and,
And that's why we're trying to shift more onto the commercial this year to help with
Yeah.
that situation. We know that it's, you know, gonna be difficult for some people.
yeah.
Unfortunately, the market is the market,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I get it. We can't can't pick and choose who, you know, who can pay, who can.
yeah, we
this.
don't
I
have
just-
that,
yeah.
we don't have that option, unfortunately. We have to
Yeah.
do fair cash value, so.
I mean, I think the 1.3 shift keeps it relatively, you know, especially if you look from year to year. You know, in previous years, the residential got hit, and then other years, the commercial got hit. So I think trying to keep it somewhat neutral here is.
Yeah,
the
that's-
best you can do.
So basically, it's like, so the fact that that number is up a little bit from 25, that's because we're shifting more.
No,
Yes.
it would be higher.
That's what,
we
so, but I
weren't
mean, like the
shifting as much.
1.30,
Yep.
that means we're shifting more money to.
To the
Commercial.
commercial,
To the
burden,
commercial.
the burden on the
So
commercial.
that, it's good that that number's
Yes.
going
Yeah.
up a little.
Yeah.
I know, this is always a hard one. I guess,
I know.
you know,
I know.
for the, you know, for the
I
average
try
person.
to do it as clear as I
Yeah.
can, you know, I mean, it's, you know, it's
Yeah.
always kind of gray sometimes. It's just the way it is. It's-
And when you look at it, the industrial actually isn't getting a reduction. It's just that their values have gone down.
Yeah, the overall value's gone down. Is the actual value of all those properties going down?
No.
Not necessarily,
Right.
no.
Right.
It's just an overall
So
figure.
they're not going to expect an $1,100 reduction in their bill.
No, exactly. It's just the
It's just the way the
statistics.
average trend
The
is, right.
statistics are kind of skewed because of the
Right.
drop in the overall value.
Exactly.
So, I wish I could. but-
Yeah. Okay. Anybody have any other questions?
No.
Thoughts?
Appreciate the shift.
Appreciate it. Well, you have to vote to shift, so.
Yeah, we need 3 votes at the end there. if we
Expect a
can.
shift.
So,
Do you have the motions?
Motions to be made, yep. Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Move to vote no on an open space discount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to vote no on residential exemption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Move to vote no on a small commercial exemption.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Move to set the minimum residential factor to 1.30.
If
No,
you
it's
could just say
actually
the
2.
.9264, that's the way they like to,
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's the way they like
All
to.
right. Move to set the minimum residential factor to 0.9264.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
your work on this.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Absolutely. See you next year, I guess.
All right. Paige, you finished all yours?
I am.
Okay. Selectmen's update. Does anybody have anything that they would like to?
Have the Halloween parade.
Okay, go ahead.
So unfortunately, Deb had something that she had to do, so she couldn't join me, so I dragged my daughter along. And so another successful Halloween parade, not quite as many kids as in the past. It's funny, I just think there's so much going on, like, I happened to see somebody, happened to be one of our police officers, and she was working, and I said, "Where are your kids?" And she said, "Oh my God," she said, there was something every day with all the trunk and treats and, and parties and everything else. It's just like only so much and so much candy you can let them eat. So, but it was a great day. It was a little bit windy, but the kids had a great time. And I had the 5 and under category and family category, and so we saw some really original, some pretty cool costumes. And so, the kids looked like they had a great time. Then we ended up on the Common, and Elite did their dance routines, and it was a good day. I'm happy. I was asked if I would return next year, so I guess I did okay.
You're doing something right.
Either that or they're just desperate, right? So for people, but it was fun. The kids, per usual, the kids had a good time. So that was kind of fun day.
Anybody else? Doc?
No, good.
Oh,
Thank the crafts.
yeah. I was just gonna say, the board had an opportunity. All 5 board members made it. Katie and Paige couldn't join us, but we had our annual invitation to go up and get some a tour of some of the new things that they've added up there. One is the it was there last year. I don't think we didn't go last year, right? I think so. One was, it was pretty impressive, the whole GP pavilion down the end. Very, very nice club. I'm glad we got the invite. Couldn't afford to go there ourselves for the season, but very nice. We saw the Bud Light Pavilion. Thank you to Mr. Kraft. He was very, very generous to chat with us a little bit. He's always busy before a game with lots of important people, so we got to have a little conversation with him. And he took a photo. I don't know, we haven't seen the photo yet, I don't think, but anyhow, he took a photo with the whole group. And it was, per usual, it's nice to see a very impressive stadium in our own backyard.
Yeah, we got to go up to the lighthouse and watch Lauren Sky ring the bell. That was kind of cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
We got to take a picture pretending to ring the bell.
Because we couldn't ring the bell.
Yes. I was threatened to make sure I didn't ring the bell. I gave that look like I was going to give it a ring. And but anyhow, it was nice. What something, I haven't been up to the lighthouse, believe it or not. So beautiful view, the Boston skyline. Little windy that day too up there, but it was great.
Only I'll add to Paige's thing on the DPW. The committee met this afternoon, and for our monthly meeting, one of the things that came out of it is that we're going to have about $147,000 credit for unused bad soils, if you will, that we had put in for an allowance on. So that basically has helped a lot as far as the few change orders we've had. We've actually had a very, very good contractor on this. The change orders have been very limited. I would say that's, indicative of a contractor that really has a good handle on everything that's going on. The site looks great. The only place that doesn't have the final coat of paving is in the rear of the building. The other thing the committee had voted to do while the general contractor was there was to complete the cleanup of the existing building as far as the masonry and painting, so that the whole thing will look as a uniform building upon completion. So I know they've already power washed the building and started doing repairs to the joints of the masonry, and then they will paint across the entire thing. Inside, I think Paige mentioned it last time, it's very impressive. They really, should have no reason not to be able to do their jobs, as far as equipment and capability of what the building offers. Obviously, they have their own sides to do, but also I think the additional storage for the different departments will really improve the ability to maintain and take care of buildings, as well as the storage for parts and stuff. So the new wash bay is a very impressive area. As you know, the reason for that, I just want people to realize, it's not that we just wanted an inside car wash. It's that we can't have the exterior stuff that we used to do as far as washing vehicles, because of the salts and the oils and stuff like that. Yeah, all that has to be trapped, and that's why you have the wash bays in these DPW buildings now. So things like buses and trucks and stuff, when they're cleaning them, anything that comes off those trucks has to go through a filtration system. So, other than that, I mean, as Paige said, the parking lot for the buses is now back to where it was. Again, a very nice layout. Looks like it's going to work well for the drivers. We did move the shed back for them, and we're continuing to look at our options as far as a better bathroom option for them. Could be something as not easy, but that would be like a separate bathroom unit, like you have at nice parties type of thing. That would basically have heat and stuff like that, so it'd be better. So we continue to look at that one. The generator will be moving over to the recreation the community center shortly. And when we're going to put a smaller generator at the office side, because the new building has a full generator that runs the entire building. So they're making some really good strides. Technically, by December 1st or 6th, they're supposed to be pretty much down to punch items, but there's still a fair amount of things to do, and we're still waiting for a few things to show up. So a lot of the lifts and stuff like that were back ordered, and the tariffs didn't help on that, but I think we're in good shape there now.
How long's it been?
Started in the spring.
Wow.
Seems longer.
It does.
Yeah, I mean, well, the process actually started last year about this time, but the actual work, I think the metal building didn't show up until March or April. So
Such a big project. It seems like it went pretty well.
I would say
the timing is,
yeah. But again, it's the difference of a metal building versus when you're doing stuff like a joint public safety or something like that, where it's a lot of internal structures as well. This is a very opened inside building. It's an envelope, effectively, is what you're building, and then it's just all this special equipment that ends up in it. So, and that's obviously that's easier to put in because it's already prefabbed and pre-made and stuff. So, the site though does look much nicer. I mean, it's much cleaner. Hopefully, they'll be able to keep it organized this way. And really be able to take care of our equipment better, just because more of it, if not all of it, should be able to be inside at this point, so.
Shameless plug for the Common View video, because you can see video of the new DPW expansion inside on camera, so check it out on cable access on demand.
Yeah.
And we're recording, Marie and I are recording our next one Friday.
Tell Chris that we'd like a tour.
Well, in the meantime, watch our show.
Ribbon cuttings and in his spare time.
Okay, that's all I have. If nobody else has anything else?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn?
I have some action items.
Action, I'm sorry. Trying to get out of here earlier.
Give Kitty a heart attack.
Motion to approve National Grid's petition to install 2 JO poles on Granite Street, beginning at a point approximately 50 feet northwest of the center line of the intersection of Granite Street at Prospect Street, and continuing approximately 1,500 feet in a northeast direction. National Grid is proposing to install new pole P38-1 on the north side of Granite Street and a new pole P24-48 on the west side of Granite Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Motion to approve National Grid's petition to install 1 JO pole on Water Street, beginning at a point approximately 25 feet southwest of the center line of the intersection of Water Street at Prospect Street, and continuing in an east direction. National Grid is proposing to install a new pole P17-1 on the west side of Prospect Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion to approve the additional data sheet for the MIAA Foxborough High School, I hope it's Foxborough High School, I'm sorry, High School Football Championships on December 4th, 2025, from 5 PM to 8 PM, December 5th, 2025, from 5 PM to 8 PM, and December 6th, 2025, from 10 AM to 7 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to appoint Diane Duhame to the Council on Aging and Human Services Advisory Board for a term to end May 31st, 2028.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to appoint Daryl Carson to the Veteran Services Advisory Committee for a term to end May 31st, 2028.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to appoint Paul Morissette to the Veteran Services Advisory Committee for a term to end May 31st, 2028.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to approve Select Board meeting minutes from October 21st, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to approve Select Board meeting minutes from October 27th, 2025?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Oh, that was before, sorry. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody.